Let's see if it gets it right this time. Regularly make new friends. Disagree. Spend a lot of your free time exploring various random topics that pique your interest. Kinda. Some other people cry. Seeing other people cry can easily make you feel like you want to cry too. No. You often make a backup plan for a backup plan sometimes. You usually stay calm even under a lot of pressure. Not really. Yeah, I mean, actually, yeah. Relatively calm. At social events, you rarely try to introduce yourself to new people and mostly talk to the ones you already know. Yeah. You prefer to completely finish one project before starting another. I mean, I prefer it, doesn't mean I actually do it. You're very sentimental. Kinda not. You like to use organizing tools like schedules and lists. I would like to, but I never do. Even a small mistake can cause you to doubt your overall abilities and knowledge. Yep. You feel comfortable just walking up to someone you find interesting, striking up a conversation? No. I find it very rude if you do that. You're not too interested in discussing various interpretation and analysis of creative works. Not really. I mean, kinda. I like talking about it, but it doesn't mean I actually like initiating conversations. You're more inclined to follow your head than your heart. Yeah. No. Just drop it down a level. You usually prefer just doing what you feel like at any given moment instead of planning particular routines. I hate being spontaneous. You rarely worry about whether you make a good impression on people you meet. You should worry about that quite a bit. You enjoy participating in group activities. I mean, I have little family things I like to do sometimes. You like books and movies that make you come up with your own interpretation ending. Strongly disagree. I love absolute endings because not only does it like set up sequels if necessary, but it also stops the ability to create a reason for sequels. Right? So absolute endings, having a definitive ending that you don't have to guesstimate is very important in my book. Your happiness comes before helping others accomplish things than your own accomplishments. I mean, I enjoy both. You are interested in so many things that you find it difficult to choose what to try next. Yeah, kinda. You're prone to worrying that things will take a turn for the worst. Yup. You avoid leadership roles in group settings. Yup. You're definitely not an artistic person. Kinda artistic. Right there. Like, I'm more artistic than your average person, but that doesn't mean I'm actually good at art. You think the world would be a better place if people relied more on rationality and less on feelings. 3. You prefer to do your chores before allowing yourself to relax. You enjoy watching people argue. Most of the time I don't enjoy it. Sometimes, times there's entertaining arguments though. Especially if it's over something petty and it doesn't actually matter. You tend to avoid drawing attention to yourself. I mean, I'm streaming, so can't put it up here, but I don't really like attention. Your mood can change very quickly. Yeah. You lose patience with people who are not as efficient as you sometimes. You often end up doing things at the last possible moment. Yeah. You have always been fascinated by the question of what, if anything, happens after death. I don't care. When you're dead, you're dead. You usually prefer to be around others rather than on your own. I like being by myself. You become bored or lose interest when the discussion gets highly theoretical. Yeah. You find it easy to empathize with a person whose experiences are very different from yours. I don't find it easy. Because in order to be able to empathize, usually you have to either have an understanding or you have to have gone through the same thing. And I don't like the idea of me acting like I can understand something I don't fully understand. If I understand it to a degree, I'll be like, I kind of understand. Or I'll be like, I understand what you're going through, but I don't say I understand it. Also, it's very hard to sympathize sometimes. You usually postpone finalizing decisions for as long as possible. Yeah. You rarely second guess the choices you made. I always second guess. After a long, exhausting week, a lively social event is just what you need. Nope. You enjoy going to art museums, never been to one, never want to. You often have a hard time understanding other people's feelings. I understand it. It doesn't mean I can empathize with it all the time. You like to have a to-do list for the day. I keep mental notes, but I don't actually have a list. You rarely feel insecure. I always feel insecure. You avoid making phone calls. Yup. You often spend a lot of time trying to understand views that are very different from your own. No. There's no point in trying, like, I can understand it, but I don't make it a point to. In your social circle, you are often the one who contacts your friends or initiates activities, right? If your plans are interrupted, your top priority is to get back on track as soon as possible. Yup. You're still bothered by mistakes you made a long time ago every day. You rarely contemplate the reason for human existence. I don't care. Your emotions control you more than you control them. Somewhat disagree. You take great care not to make people look bad even when it's completely their fault. There's no point in making someone look bad. Like, it makes sense for there to be like some sort of public vision of it, but like, I don't go out of my way to do that. Instead, it's just like, hey, if someone creates an issue and I can clean it up, or if we can clean it up, because that's a very important thing. It's a shared thing. But if we can clean it up before it becomes an issue where people see it and they get in trouble, then you clean it up with them. If not, then it's like, it's not your problem. I just don't join in the bandwagoning against them unless it's like fun bandwagoning. Sometimes it's funny. No one actually takes it serious. That's when it's fun to bandwagon. Your personal work style is closer to spontaneous bursts of energy than organized, consistent efforts. Yeah, most of the time. When someone thinks highly of you, you wonder how long it will take for them to feel disappointed every time. You would love a job that requires you to work alone most of the time. Yup. You believe that pondering abstract philosophical questions is a waste of time. Yeah, most of the time. You feel more drawn to places with busy, bustling atmospheres than quiet, intimate places. Disagree. You know at first glance how someone is feeling. No. You often feel overwhelmed all the time. Well, kinda, yeah. To a degree. You complete things methodically without skipping any steps. Sometimes I do. Usually I just wing it. You're very intrigued by things labeled as controversial. Not intrigued, I don't really care. You would pass along a good opportunity if you thought someone else needed it more. Yeah, I would do it. Done it before. You struggle with deadlines? Yeah. You feel confident that things will work out for you? No. I got virtuoso again. I don't think I'm virtuoso. I'm saying I'm even more introverted than yesterday. Thanks. I don't like exploring. Natural makers, I do like making stuff. This makes me sound way smart. This test has to be like fucking blowing smoke up my ass. Right? Just fluffing my butthole. It just doesn't make sense. Okay. They enjoy having other people take an interest in their projects. Sometimes they don't even mind them getting into their space. Okay, I agree with that. Of course, that's on condition that those people don't interfere with the virtuosos' principles and freedom. They'll need to open to virtuosos, turning the interest kind. They enjoy lending a hand and sharing their experience. Kinda, yeah. Especially with people I care about, definitely with them. It's a shame they're so uncommon, making up only 5%. It's especially rare in women. Well, I don't want to make any sexist jokes there. While their mechanical tendencies can make them appear simple at a glance, they are quite enigmatic, friendly but very private, calm but suddenly spontaneous. Yup. Virtuosos can seem very loyal and steady for a while, but they tend to build up more impulsive energy that explodes without warning. Not really. Takes their interest in bold new directions. Sometimes, yeah, I have a tendency of like focusing on one thing, turning to something else, focusing on something else. Makes it really hard to stick to a certain thing. Like I've tried art, animation, video editing, and I was mediocre at all of them. Just fucking mediocre. But just passion just constantly fluctuates. Virtuosos decisions stem from a sense of practical realism, and at their heart is a strong sense of direct fairness. Do unto others attitude. That's correct. Instead of being overly cautious, though, avoiding stepping on toes in order to avoid having their toes stepped on, virtuosos are likely to go too far, accepting likewise retaliation, good or bad. That's fair play. I do actively avoid stepping on toes. But if I do step on toes, I understand that retaliation is fair. The biggest issues they have are likelihood of faces that they often act too soon, taken for granted their permissive nature, assuming that others are the same. Not really fitting my bill. That'll be the first to tell an insensitive joke. That happens quite a bit. I once made a masturbating joke with one of my teachers in high school, and her response was she just looked at me awkwardly and she's like, "Why would you say that?" And I was like, "Ugh, not bad. I'm just used to making those jokes with my friends." Guess me and her weren't friends. Who would have known? Learned that many others have firmly drawn lines, acceptable behaviors than they do. Yeah. Okay. Not easily able to predict emotions because they believe in fairness. Sometimes, yeah. They don't struggle with boundaries. As long as you draw your own boundaries and don't allow other people to overstep them, typically, you know. Right. Give people space. Probe them with questions, or probe them before you start making the raunchy jokes. It's not for everyone. And then just don't pry into their private life. Everyone has a freedom of privacy. Oh, Michael Jordan, Clint Eastwood, Bear Grylls. On Bear Grylls. Okay, straight. Optimistic and energetic. Not really. Yeah, kind of at work. Creative and practical. Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, no, actually, that's true. Spontaneous and rational. I'm not spontaneous. I hate how this thing keeps saying spontaneous. Know how to prioritize. Not very well. Great in crisis. I mean, when you're in a situation where, like, you're working for someone and then some issue happens at work, it's really just sit down, bite the bullet, and then follow your directions. It's not rocket science. Learn that in football and fast food. Relaxed, yeah, mostly. Stubborn. I am stubborn, insensitive. I don't think so, but I guess an insensitive person wouldn't think they're insensitive. Private and reserved, 100%. Easily bored, yep. Dislike commitment. I don't like committing to anything. Anything. Risky behavior, not really. Life's not about taking risks. Unless you can, like, pay. It's a bit like nailing jello to a tree. Dating a virtuoso's personality is a tango, complex and interesting, with alternating coldness and detachment, and passion, spontaneity, and enjoyment of moment. Nothing can be forced in a virtuoso's relationships, but so long as they are given the space they need to be themselves, they will gladly enjoy the comforts of a steady partner for life. Yeah, I need my space. It's just the type of person. I need someone that can respect my privacy. Give me time to take shits. Shits are like #1 thing on my list. If there was like a fucking train coming and I had to take a shit and there's a child on the tracks, I would try to take a shit and then hope for the best, and if I can make it in time, save the child. No offense to the child, it's just like shitting's very important to me. It's probably the most important thing. The last thing I'm gonna do when I die is take a shit. Because everyone, or most people, do that. Okay. Yep, I do need personal space, physically and mentally. Okay, on the other hand, virtuosos have no problem trying to change their partner's habits, most likely with attempts to get them to loosen up a bit, relax and have fun. Their personalities are hardly strict or traditional when it comes to dating, and often try to introduce sex into their activities early on. If only you knew. Sensual individuals that they are, they make ready use of all their senses, viewing intimacy as an art, a performance, and a source of pleasure. Yeah, no, that's some fucking commie gobbledygook. I don't understand that. I hate people that like. This feels like it was written by a person that compares art to sex very often. I hate that. Is having sex an art? Probably. Is it comparable to a fucking painting? No. It doesn't even make sense. But fucking people are like that. People are just weirdos. As the relationships progress, their partners tend to find the intimacy is about the closest they get to an open emotional expression. Not true. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I just wear long sleeve shirts so they can't see that shit. It's not that they don't have feelings, they actually run quite deep and strong. Just that they conceal and protect them because they're unsure how to deal with them and express them. That's fucking true as shit. They have no trouble leaving something they think is mutually understood unsaid. I love reassurance, so that's not necessarily the most true. This applies to a broader sense in their relationships as well. Any attempts to push understood arrangements, even their relationships themselves, into open discussions in order to secure commitment, especially early on, are often met by virtuosos with something close to panic. Nothing is acutely terrifying to virtuosos, as knowing there's no way out. Every day is a new day. They review their obligations from moment to moment. It's true. It's just how their mind works. People living in a prison, that's true. I mean, fucking live in the clouds, black lung. This thing's basically just saying fucking virtuosos fuck. No. Ugh. Not being grilled on when they're going to finish something or when they've suddenly changed their mind. At the same time, being a little bit more expressive, a little more comfortable with the idea consistency follows through can go a long way. They work best with observant people. Okay. Easy to learn, difficult to master. It's easy for them to make friends. It's hard for them to make true friends. See that? Yeah. I think that's just a rule for life, though. If someone's very easy to be friends with, then that means they're very easy to be friends with for other people as well, usually. Living in the present, enjoying what life brings, and feeling no obligation to shift course on account of others. Friends don't want to do what a virtuoso is doing, then they are free to go do their own thing. That's true. They'll hang out some other time. Yup. Sometimes their shifts in attitude can catch their friends flat-footed. Everything can be changed. That's never what I say. I always just say it is what it is. Forcing them to constantly commit to a scheduled activity is probably the quickest way to end these friendships. I hate scheduled forced activities. I don't end friendships over something that petty. See, when you have a friendship, there is obligations to like meet in the middle. So like this list is kind of forgetting about that. Or at least implying it's one-sided. Be rich and rewarding, talented when it comes to using their senses, usually enjoying a little competition. I hate competition. I enjoy fun, I hate competition. This makes virtuosos hobbies, especially the more physical ones like fishing and crafts, especially enjoyable. Thoughtful, rational, creative. Okay. So it's basically saying these people do best when they're friends with people that are like more conscious of others' behaviors. Okay. Okay. No, I usually I feel like I'm the observant one. See, 77% observant. Give their children more freedom and an opportunity. Okay. Well, career. Let's do career path. Born problem solvers. I mean, my issue is like the ability to focus. Freelance, that makes sense. Maybe that's why I was pretty decent at fighting whenever I fought or practice MMA. Just the ability to like not like either I hyper focus or I don't focus at all. But like when it comes to fighting, there's so many things to focus on. You can basically you're seeing like a wide thing, so you're like your adrenaline's pumping, so you're focused. But like you notice every little thing. Like my big thing was I would notice when the shoulders would twitch whenever they're about to throw a punch, and that would tell me like how I'm supposed to dodge. Usually it's just step back. A step back or a double step back will basically allow you to dodge things, and then you just have to watch their footwork. So like you'll be able to see their like legs whenever they do that. So if you do like if they step in their punch, then sometimes you do a double step back if they have longer range, and if they have a fucking like shorter, if they do like a double step in, then it's like for your step back, then you'll just like depending on the punch, you'll probably just duck. So I always went against a guy that was like orthodox. He was 3 inches taller, 4 inches taller, but he had like 4 or 5 inches on each arm over me in like range. So it was typically just if he's thrown a left hook, duck under it, slip. Okay, I'm talking too much about MMA. But yeah, it's just about reading it. A little wriggle room, relax and easy going. Yup. This is true. I think it's also because people like not being forced in conversations, but they also enjoy someone that will uh, either like make jokes with them or have little short conversations, and then completely okay with conversations just immediately ending. Like I'm okay with it. So I think that's why people kind of liked working with me. I was very anti-drama. Yeah, I can be pretty blunt sometimes, especially when I'm mad. Okay. No, my humor's not risky at all. At least not with the opposite sex. Because you don't want to get me too'd. But also, I feel like with me, I make a risque joke with a girl. Like, they have to be like kind of the ones in the mood. And they're not typically in the mood. And if they are, it's like, I'm not going to make that joke. I don't even like you personally. Willingness to improvise, yelp. You may have muttered to yourself, wow, this is so accurate, it's a little creepy sometimes. I don't think I'm a virtuoso, but I do have a lot of these traits. Study how they think, what they need to reach their full potential. No, we did not spy on you. You face in the future. So it's like the issue that virtuosos have is they just need better planning skills. They need to be a little bit more conscious of the way people think. Oh yeah, it's got some of that down. Some of it.